Happy Saturday, everybody. It was a damn good Friday. Good Friday in the MLB. Hey, this is an MLB slash college football video. So if you just want the college football bets, use the little timeline at the bottom. Go to the best bets. I'll have all of the college bets in there. But we're going to recap yesterday's results. We're going to talk about today's MLB slate. I like the college slate. Super exciting. But as much as I love college, NFL, I do love the NFL. So next week, we're going hard on the NFL. Super excited for that. The college won't have a full breakdown. I just gave my picks today, but the NFL next week we'll go into some more in-depth analysis on everything. But with that said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's free. It helps me a lot. Give the video a thumbs up. Comment down below what your favorite college or MLB play is today. But let's get into the recap. Beautiful day. Almost 6 units up. Dumbass play on the White Sox. I'll give you that. But they were up 1-0 after the first. They just couldn't score a run the rest of the game, which is pretty damn wild. But overall, absolutely crushed it, man. We went 12-3 on picking games. The Reds just sucked. They were just bad in game 2. The Rangers got smoked, and the D-backs almost made quite a comeback. It ended up being 10-9. Pretty wild game there. Cost us the upset parlay. It would have been a heck of a day. But we hit the fun parlay for plus 957. That was absolutely beautiful. Baltimore made it pretty sweaty until the end. Seattle was making me a little nervous there. Real good day. 12-3, 4-4 on the props. Not loving the props. We got to do better on the props. I don't have any today just because I wanted to focus on the college football. But Nerfies, we've been on a good little streak there. Don't have any today, but we've been on a nice little run there. In terms of tracking, really nice day. Almost 6 units, so we're back in the green. We need another big day today. We need a big day. All right, hot and cold. There's a decent amount on here today. A lot of people are hot against Merrill Kelly. So we've got 6 Dodgers players that have a real good track record against Merrill Kelly. Many of these folks have 30-plus ABs. So we've got a pretty big slate to draw from. A decent amount of folks on the Astros have had some success. So this might help you guys. We've got a decent amount of folks on the Phillies that are hot against Max Fried. If we look at cold batter matchups, a couple people on Atlanta that are a little cold against Zach Wheeler. We've got a couple of folks on the Mariners that are cold against Tyler Anderson. Let's see. Hot pitcher matchups. Kyle Gibson against the Yankees. They're only hitting 187 off of him. 14 for 75 with 2 home runs. Jose Barrios has been throwing pretty good against Minnesota. And then Zach Wheeler against the Phillies. So some cold pitcher matchups. Cole Reagan's not having the best of luck against the Astros. Max Fried against the Phillies. And Merrill Kelly against the Dodgers. So it kind of ties in, correlates somewhat to some of our picks today. I would say one of these picks is going to be a bit contrarian to what this is showing. All right, bullpen review. Most of the bullpens are fairly healthy. The 2 that kind of stick out would be the Dodgers, and maybe not so much for today, but more for tomorrow. I'm already kind of seeing this lineup to be a Diamondbacks day tomorrow, although full transparency, I don't know who's pitching yet, but just kind of looking at bullpen usage, there's a decent chance they could be pretty taxed heading into tomorrow. And then the Reds are just in horrendously bad shape. Their bullpen is shattered. Fernando Cruz is starting today, so that's a bullpen arm you can take off. They are in dire straits on this bullpen, so I look for them to just get smacked all around the yard today. I wanted to pull in something new and talk about standings. This is just more, it's going to kind of help us look at the current landscape of the MLB. Which teams are completely out of it, right? Which teams should we fade, or are they going to play spoiler? Which teams really need to win? So I've kind of highlighted the areas to focus on. So the O's are kind of right there with the Yankees. The Yankees got Will Warren on the hill today. Really good spot for the Orioles to potentially pick up a full game here if they can beat the Rockies. They're only a game and a half back in the AL East. Red Sox are making a run. 3.5 back of the wild card after that horrendously bad stretch with the Blue Jays. I would say the Rays are probably out of it, but I've got them on here. But if they lose today, I think we can safely probably cut them off. Over in the AL Central, Kansas City, they keep gaining ground and then giving it up, gaining and giving. But Guardians, Royals, Twins are all in the fight. Tigers are kind of an outside shot, maybe. We'll see how the last 2 games of this Red Sox series go. In the AL West, we've got the Mariners, who are 4 games back of the Astros, 4.5 of the wild card. Everyone else is just pretty much out of it and just playing spoiler. In the East, for the NL, we've got the Braves that are 5 games back. So very key series here against the Phillies. I don't like their odds today. And then we got the Mets. The Miracle Mets are 3 games back of the wild card, but they've got the White Sox, so should be a sweep. Could pick up potentially 1, maybe 2 games in the wild card race. If we look at the Central, the Brewers have such a commanding lead in the Central. I mean, they're just kind of cruising in. So, well, I'm sure they're going to pick and choose some games here. Today might be one of them, or tomorrow, where they've just got such a commanding lead over the Central. Cubs and Cards are kind of in the mix in the wild card, but we'll have to see. And then the NL West, it's a dogfight. You've got the Diamondbacks and the Padres are both 5 games back of the Dodgers, so pretty big 2 games coming up here for the D-backs to try to get some ground on those Dodgers. I thought this would be helpful. Only 27 games left, 26, 25 for some teams, so it's kind of sad. Regular season's coming to an end, but let's get into the slate here. I'll try to make this video not super duper long. All right, Cardinals, Yankees. I like the Cards today. Will Warren, this guy is absolute trash. He's got a 16 home ERA in 2 starts. He gave up 5 versus the White Sox, 8 versus the Angels. He's just not very good. We look at Kyle Gibson. He's got 12 games he's played or faced the Yankees. He does have a 6 ERA. Obviously, we kind of talked about he's got a decent matchup against this current roster, though. But Kyle Gibson, you kind of never really know what you're going to get. He's given up 21 earned runs over his last 5 starts, 10 over his previous 2 away starts. So a little bit of cause for concern there. I just like runs in this game. I can definitely see runs being scored. The only thing is the Yankees just not hitting. They really didn't get to Fetty. We saw them in the Nats series struggle to hit, so will they hit today? I don't know. This really leans me heavy towards the Cardinals, especially at such a beautiful price at, what are we getting, plus 142? I mean, that's ridiculous. Warren's given up a 350 average to righty, 333 to lefty. Gibson, almost 300 to lefties, a shade over 300 to righties. So everything just screams runs. Will Warren's hard hit rate's almost 50%, 92 average exit velo. It just looks bad. Looks bad. And we just talked about it. The Cardinals really are fighting to get in that wild card. All right, next game, Cubs at the Nats. Didn't look good at first. Imanaga gave up 2 runs in the bottom of the first, and then the Cubbies came out top of the second and just threw up a 7 spot and kind of never looked back until the end when I thought they were going to blow it for a minute. That got a little sketchy. All right, Javier Assad going up against DJ Hers. Assad rocking about a 4 away ERA. Hers about 3.5 at home. Assad has faced Washington 1 time in 2023. Had a great outing. 5 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs. He's only given up 8 earned runs in his last 5 starts, which a couple of those came in his recent start against the World Series Sunday getaway champions Miami Marlins, who cannot be beat on Sundays. They ended up scoring, I believe, 3 off of him. So if we look at DJ Hers, 6 earned runs over the last 5 games. So he's got a really nice stretch going. That was against the Braves, the Rockies, the Orioles, the Giants, and the Brewers. So decent teams. 3, 4 of those 5 teams, pretty solid. I like the way he's trending right now. He's given up 6 earned runs over his last 4 home starts. So a lot of momentum there. Pitch splits look pretty crappy, if we're being honest. Cubs are number 1 team in baseball over the last 30 days, hitting lefties. They are number 1 in average over the last week, hitting 548. I mean, they've been on a tear. My thing is, it is the Cubs. It will come to an end. There is no doubt about it. We've got the wind blowing out Little scary too. Doesn't necessarily work in Hers' favor. He is a fly ball pitcher. 63 of his outs come via the fly ball. The only thing I like is his splits. He's given up a 200 average to lefties, 185 to righties, whereas Assad's basically about a 250 to either side of the plate. So to me, I think it's a really good Nat spot. If you're not comfortable full game, maybe first five. I do think they have the pitching advantage here. I could see a first five hitting for the Nats today. All right, next game, Padres at the Rays. Hey, get something to drink. Let's go. All right, Padres, Rays, Shane Baz, Randy Vasquez. I just can't get behind Vasquez, man. We were behind the Padres yesterday. It was beautiful. They tagged Taj Bradley. I don't think they tagged Shane Baz. We just really haven't seen a team like mess him up. I know his expected ERA is 4.23, but we really just haven't seen that regression that technically should happen. He's given up 9 earned runs over his last 4 games. He had a very nice outing against the A's. Take with that what you will, but did not give up an earned run. He's given up 8 earned runs over his last 3 home starts to the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Yankees. So pretty decent, right? We look at the splits. He's primarily a fastball guy. So the fact he didn't give up a ton to the Reds, that's kind of their sweet spot. Cardinals have been trending in a very good direction. And the Yankees are the Yankees. So he's pitched really well against some tough teams. If we look at Randy Vasquez, 12 earned runs over his last 4 starts, right? He's Randy Vasquez. He's going to give up some runs. So probably not a game I'll touch today, but I would have a lean towards the Rays, and I do believe this line is kind of trending further towards the Rays. I think it's like minus 130 right now. So there is good value taking the Padres. If you think they're going to hit today, there's definitely value on taking them, but not a game I'm going to touch today. It's college football day, baby. All right, Pirates, Guardians, Luis Ortiz, Matthew Boyd. Ortiz rocking a 3.18 away ERA. Boyd's been pretty good. This guy's been really solid. That said, his career versus the Pirates hasn't been a phenomenal one. He's faced them 4 times. Last game was in 2020. He's got almost a 9 ERA. That said, he's coming back from, I believe, Tommy John. He's looked pretty fantastic this year, in my opinion. He's pitched 3 games, 5 earned runs. So 5 earned over 21.2 innings, 12 Ks, 5 base on balls, and he's only given up 10 hits in those 3 games. So pretty solid. If we look at Pittsburgh, they have struggled against left-handed starters. They've only gotten 10 earned runs against the last 4 lefties. Haven't faced stout lefties either. Hasn't been dominant lefties that have been shutting them down. Guys like Andrew Haney in the Rangers series. So not the stiffest of competition. So I like the Guardians to get it done today. Hopefully they don't do what they did last night. They just left Lively out there way too long, and he gave up 6 runs in the 5th inning or 6th inning. It was tragic. Luckily, Pirates bullpen is absolute dog shit. So even if they do get down early, I think they'll come back. Pitch splits for Ortiz don't look great. Guy is giving up the long ball like it's his job. We do have the wind blowing in a little bit, so that does help him. Yeah, give me Guardians. I don't really see a spot to take the Pirates here. All right, Red Sox, Tigers, Skubal, Pivetta. Should be a pretty decent pitching matchup. I think we see that reflected in the over-under of 7.5, but we do have the wind blowing out. Skubal hasn't been as dominant as kind of he started the season. He's definitely shown that he can be hit, and he can be hit fairly hard. That said, he's got a 2.28 home ERA. Pivetta right around a 4.5 away ERA. Skubal over his career versus the Red Sox, not phenomenal. He's got a 6 ERA in 3 games versus the Red Sox. He gave up 4 earned runs against them last year. Ooh, kind of, maybe this is a spot to take the Red Sox if we're being honest, but I think the Tigers get it done today. I just don't trust Pivetta. He's given up 10 earned runs over his last 3 starts. All of them have been away. It was against the Astros, the Orioles, and the Rangers. So 2 of the 3 pretty stiff competition. The thing for me with Pivetta, the wind is blowing out. Guy is a fly ball pitcher. It's almost a guarantee that he is going to give up 2 home runs today. So maybe a Tigers first 5 would probably be the safer way to go, like just isolate Skubal and Pivetta, or a first 7 type of deal. But I do like the Tigers today. I know the Red Sox are fighting for their lives, but They almost blew it last night. It was pretty tragic. They were up 4-0 heading into the bottom of the eighth, and they blew it. So they ended up winning in extras, but seems like a Tigers day. All right, A's Rangers. I mean, I could care less about this game. I put Rangers on here. The value's on the Athletics. Honestly, they absolutely smoked them last night. Um, they faced a lefty. They absolutely got to Haney. You've got another lefty in Bradford on the hill today. Similar pitching styles, but I just don't trust Joey Estes on the road. He's got a 7.17 away ERA. He's given up 8 earned runs over his last 4 games. 3 of those starts were at home. The one start away, he gave up 3 earned runs versus the Mets. So I just don't trust the guy away. That said, they have struggled against lefties, right? Obviously, last night helped, but prior to last night, they'd only gotten 8 earned runs versus the previous 3 lefties. So Bradford's been pretty solid. He's given up 7 earned runs in the last 4 games. That said, one of his starts at home recently gave up 5. So there is a path to the Athletics. Just a complete fade for me. 2 teams that have nothing to play for. I'm just going to skip that game entirely, and whoever wins, good on them. All right, next game, Royals and the Astros. Cole Reagan's going up against Yusei Kikuchi. Kikuchi, not the greatest track record against the Royals. So this is kind of where I lean for a Royals bounce back spot. We saw him get to the pen last night after Framber Valdez had absolute fantastic night. And they've just been torching lefties. The Royals have gotten 24 earned runs over the last 6 left-handed starters. So I like the trend there. Now, that said, they haven't faced the most dominant lefties as of late. They had Logan Allen, Colby Allard, and then they had Ranger Suarez. So one decent pitcher in there within the last 3. If we look at Reagan's, not a phenomenal career versus Houston. He's got a 5.4 ERA in 6 games against them. Did face them in April, 10 hits, 3 earned runs. So there is that, but I do like the way that Reagan's is trending. He's been pitching really well. I think the Royals bounce back. They understand the gravity of the situation, so I do like them to get to Kikuchi today. Kikuchi's given up 9 earned runs in his 5 starts since he was traded from the Blue Jays over to the Astros. 3 of those came in his last start versus Baltimore. So Baltimore was able to tag him pretty hard. So I like the Royals to get some hits today. All right, Mets and the White Sox. I would take the Mets. We got the wind kind of blowing from the west. I like the under. Davis Martin, guy's been pretty solid. Really hasn't allowed a ton of runs. He's only given up 4 earned runs over his last 4 games against the Tigers, the Giants, the Yankees, and the A's. He's got about a 2 home ERA. Quintana got a 4 away ERA. I mean, this is a beautiful spot to fade Quintana. If it wasn't the White Sox. If this was any other team, I'm probably on that other team. That said, there's a path the White Sox can win this, at least in the first 5. I think once you get to the bullpen, they're screwed, but there maybe is a first 5 opportunity here. Quintana's given up 16 earned runs over his last 4 games. That's even including throwing a shutout against the Padres where he made them look pretty silly. So does have some good momentum coming in from a previous start, but I think the over-under is a little high at 9 and maybe has drifted to 9.5. So I do like the under there. All right, Blue Jays Twins. Berrios going up against Zebby Matthews. Matthews just been super solid. He's only given up 5 earned runs over his first 3 starts in the majors. 2 of those were at home. 1 was away. He did give up his most runs at home. So that was 3 earned runs at home, and that came against, I believe, the Cardinals. So if you look at Jose Berrios, he's got almost a 5 away ERA. And that said, he's pitched really well lately. We tried to fade him in Boston, and he absolutely shit on us and threw a gem. I believe he went 8 innings and didn't give up many hits, like 2. So he's only given up 6 earned runs over his last 4 games. However, if we look at top 10 offenses, a little bit of a different story. He's given up 17 earned runs over his last 4 games against top 10 offenses, and that's including that dominant start against Boston. So there is some statistical data that could say the Twins could have a field day. And he's a righty. Twins, I like the lineup the Twins roll out when there's a righty on the hill. So I would lean Twins in this situation. We just really didn't see the Blue Jays offense do anything yesterday. They tend to be a very ebb and flow kind of team. It's like all or nothing. So I like the way the Twins looked yesterday. All right, Brewers, Reds, over. Frankie Montas was absolute horrendous when he was with the Reds at home. He had only gotten one win at home. I know it was against the Angels because I was right there. He actually pitched really well that game. Other than that, the other however many home starts he had was absolute dog crap. That said, pitching really well. Frankie the Fade Montas, I haven't been able to fade him too much. We did fade him last start against Oakland, and he came through for us. He gave up 4 earned runs, and I believe the 5th, but the first 4 innings he was absolutely dominant. He gave up no earned runs versus the Dodgers and the Cardinals the previous 2 games. So he had a 2-game stretch there where he was solid. I had Spires on here because I'd done all the research last night because I wanted to focus on college football this morning. So we can scratch that. Which ironically, as soon as they threw Spears last night, however you say his name, Spires, I was like, oh, shit's about to go downhill. It was 1-0 when he came in, and then he just gave up absolute bombs. So knew that was going to be a shit show. So Fernando Cruz is pitching instead. I just don't see the Brewers not getting to him. So I like the Brew Crew in this spot, but I do love runs being scored. I think 9 is kind of a low number. It is going to be a hell of a lot cooler today. We've been in the high 90s, mid 90s, a lot of humidity. Today it's going to be a little different. It's going to be actually pretty enjoyable weather. So the ball's not going to fly like it was the previous 2 days. So over, that's tough, but I still like it. And but I love the Brewers in this spot. Like I said, their bullpen's in a bad spot. Montas has the telltale signs that the Reds like to hit, but I think he gives them the big FU. Even if he doesn't, Reds bullpen's in such a bad spot. They'll score a ton of runs. Maybe look at the Brewers team total over instead. All right. It might be a bet we have today. I don't know. All right, Braves, Phillies, Max Fried, Zach Wheeler. Max Fried, he has faced the Phillies 3 times this year, so this is going to be his 4th time facing them. It's usually not good, right? The more you face a team, the more they get acclimated to your pitching style. Doesn't tend to go well. He's given up 2, 5, and 3 earned runs. His 1 game at Philly, he gave up 3 earned runs. So if we look at Fried, he's given up 6 earned runs over his last 3 games. That was against the Twins, the Phillies, and the Giants. So it's not like they didn't face Fried all that long ago. Zach Wheeler has just been, he's been super dominant. He's got a 3 ERA against Atlanta. He's only given up 2 earned runs in 2 starts versus Atlanta. So it works the same way, right? This is going to be the 3rd time that the Braves are facing him as well. But he gave up, I believe, 2 earned runs in his most recent start and no earned runs prior to that very early in the season. But he's been trending in such a good direction. It's really hard to fade Wheeler at home. Wheeler at home might be one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball right now. So very, very hard for me to fade him. All right. I got to pause. Got a phone call. Okay. Little commercial there. Anyway, I like the Phillies in this spot. Like I said, hard to not back Wheeler at home. We just need the offense to show up. But if we look at the splits versus lefties, they've been hitting lefties over the last 7 days. Top 2, top 3 team in baseball. Fried giving up a 353 average to lefties, 225 to righties. Wheeler 242 to lefties and a 164 average to righties. Neither really give up hard contact, both sitting kind of in that 33-34% hard hit percentage. So should be a pretty good game. Maybe look at the under there. All right, D-backs and the Dodgers. Gavin Stone, Merrill Kelly. Kind of talked about the struggles for Kelly. This Dodgers offense really loves when he pitches. If we look over His career, he's got a 5.49 career ERA versus the Dodgers. He's been back for 3 games now. He's given up 12 earned runs, so he gave up 4 to Boston, 6 to the Rays, 2 to the Phillies. So I don't love this spot. We saw the Dodgers really kind of uncork the sticks last night against Zach Gallen. They got to him very early. That said, D-backs got to Kershaw, but we kind of expected that. We were on the D-backs yesterday. So if we look at Gavin Stone, he's got a 3.59 away ERA. He's given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 games, so I do love the way he's trending. We kind of called this earlier, though. I remember back when he faced the Phillies in Philly, we took the Phillies because he had struggled against top 10 offenses. So I think there's a path to get to him. I think the over 9 could potentially be in play. All right, I could see the Dodgers getting probably 7 of those. So maybe a Dodgers team total if you want to play it safe. All right, Orioles, Rockies. Orioles got the job done yesterday. It was a little scary, but they did get the job done. Ryan Feltner, he's got a 6 home away ERA. That Coors, do with that what you will. Dean Kramer, about a 4 away ERA. This is going to be Kramer's first time pitching in Coors Field. I love to fade guys pitching their first time in Coors Field. And I just kind of love to fade Dean Kramer. That said, he's looked really good over his last 3 starts. He's only given up 5 earned runs, and 2 of those were at home, which is kind of his bugaboo, has been at home. 10 earned runs against the last 3 in his last 3 away starts, though. So it's kind of actually gone the other direction. He's pitching better at home now than he is away, and he is very prone to give up the long ball. So at Coors, the only thing that scares me here is Ryan Feltner is 1 in 10. Kind of hard to back a dude that's 1 in 10, giving up a 278 opponent average. That said, the Orioles, just the sticks, we just have not seen them. This is 3 series now where we really didn't see it. I mean, we saw a home run last night and a couple of singles. Other than that, they honestly struggled. So I think for the value here, Rockies plus 150, could definitely see taking a flyer on them. All right, next game on the card. We've got 2 more to get through here. We're at the 27-minute mark. Marlins and the Giants. Edward Cabrera going up against Mason Black. Black has a 6.14 home ERA in 2 games. Black has not pitched in the majors since May 23rd. Prior to that, when he was pitching, the previous 4 games, he had given up 14 earned runs. So stats are not good. Dude's got an 8.79 ERA. I like Cabrera. Cabrera's given up 12 earned runs in his last 3 games. Take that with a grain of salt. One of them were at Colorado, where I believe he gave up like 5. And then he did decent against the Diamondbacks, and he had the Phillies. So kind of a tough stretch to pitch there. I like the way the Marlins are hitting right-handed pitching. They're actually number 1 in average over the last week, 5th in WRC+. They're not K'ing a lot. Beautiful spot to take the Marlins. I don't trust the Giants offense. They had and 3 runs in like the 8th or the 7th last night. They scored all their runs in 1 inning. They struggled to hit. It's such a beautiful spot to take the Marlins here. All right, Mariners, Angels. Brian Wu going up against Tyler Anderson. Angels got to Wu. Angels got to Wu a little bit. They ended up winning the last matchup against Wu 6-5 on July 12th in LA. If we look at Wu, he's got a 2.81 career ERA versus this team in 5 games. He's given up 4 earned runs in 2 games versus them, all in Los Angeles. And in his last outing, he gave up 9 hits to them. So I could see a spot maybe to take the Angels. I'm probably not going to. Tyler Anderson at home has been an absolute shit show. He's given up 17 earned runs over his last 4 home starts. That was against the Blue Jays, the Mets, the A's, and the Mariners. So the Mariners saw him recently, right? I believe they do get to him. Bats are kind of trending in the right direction. So the Mariners, you ride them when the bats are rolling, and then you just hope that you don't ride them too long when they go cold, because at some point they will. But hard to not take Wu in this situation. Like I said, the splits, Anderson at home, Anderson away. It's kind of Jekyll and Hyde. He's just not been good at home. So give me the Mariners to get the job done today. Pitch sheets. I will post this later. I will go through and do all that and post that out on Twitter. Might be a little bit later today, just so you know, but we did pretty good on the pitch sheets yesterday. Let's get into the best bets for baseball here. So straight bets, give me the Cards Yanks over 9. Like I said, Will Warren just a horrendous. I mean, dude's got a 16 ERA in 2 games. I think the Cards score some runs today. Dodgers -1, just trusting the history against Merrill Kelly here. Give me the Brewers team total over 4.5. So I necessarily don't want to back them just in case Frankie the Fade Montas has a bad day. But I do love the spot here for the Brewers. You have a decimated Reds bullpen. I can see a ton of runs being scored. And then give me the over in that game as well. So I can see Milwaukee getting literally 6 of these runs, easy. So we just need the Reds to contribute a little bit. Parlays I like: Cleveland, Dodgers, Philly plus 367, Milwaukee, Minnesota, and the Mets plus 358. We went a little crazy on the fun parlay. All right, we got Dodgers, Seattle, Philly, Twins, Mets, Cleveland plus 1,808. Upset parlay, we went Cardinals, Athletics, Rockies, and the Marlins for basically plus 3,000. Kind of up there. All right, college football games I like today. Penn State, West Virginia, over 49. I can see both of these offenses just having themselves a day, and I do like West Virginia taking the plus 7.5 at -110. Georgia, Clemson, give me under 49 in that game. Obviously, it's going to be I think it'll be a spirited game. We'll see how Debo reacts, but I think we're going to see some good defenses here today. So give me the under 49 in that contest. Give me Notre Dame money line. I like them today at plus money. Yeah, it seems like a good value bet. Give me Iowa under 41.5. I mean, pretty safe bet all last year. We'll see if the offense can actually do anything this year, but I like the under 41.5 in that contest. Give me Towson plus 31.5 against Cincinnati. I just don't know how Cincinnati's going to do this year. Obviously, full transparency, I'm in Cincinnati. So I don't love the head coach. Don't really love the way the team's trending. So I like plus 31.5 here. Give me Miami of Ohio money line against Northwestern. This is just really a very nice EV play here. This line's kind of gone back and forth between 2 and 3. I just think Miami beats them. And then give me Syracuse -16.5. So those are my top 8 college football plays, obviously along with the baseball plays. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the video tomorrow.